Welcome into In the Doghouse with Tim and Scott, presented by the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Tim Cicciarelli here from My Country, 99.3 WCON, joined once again by my long time ago former morning show partner, Scott Howard, the now Friends of Georgia Radio Hall of Fame, Scott Howard, the voice of the Georgia Bulldogs, Scott Howard. Scott, did I say all that right? It's in your contract how I have to introduce you. I want to make sure that,
Well, again, I need to see that contract, and then we need to have our lawyer look at it.
Well, you've got a lawyer here joining us now. Our friend Gary Martin Hayes joining us. Good to see you, Gary.
Great seeing both of you guys. And Scott Howard, I appreciate you wearing the G for Gary sweatshirt.
Well, I do what I can to help. It's got your number. If you see it a little bit farther down below, it says 1-800-WIN-WIN-1.
I love
Gary
it.
Martin Hayes, right down to my waist. And,
Well, for those listening and not watching on YouTube, Scott Howard, of course, is wearing a Georgia Bulldog. It looks like a hoodie or something there. Big G. And I like that it ties in with Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. Very tiny print. 1-800.
Tim, what are you wearing?
I've got my there we go. My country swag on today. And Gary, what are you wearing?
Black onesie.
What?
That used to be the joke. It's like that was like the perverted joke. What are you wearing? Or I think Ray Stevens did an old record about it. Hey, Margaret. Yeah, what are you wearing, Margaret? You remember that?
I do.
Or was that just me?
No, we used to play it, remember? So
Can you play that today?
probably not. No, not in my country. We can't really do that.
It's Ray
Maybe on the
Stevens.
podcast. It is Ray Stevens. He's clean. He's family friendly. If you don't read between the lines on some of those things, right? Well, we are here to talk some football, some Georgia football. And the game on Saturday, what a game. Drama on the plains down at Jordan-Hare. Plenty to talk about. I know, Gary, we've mentioned it before, an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, born in Alabama, so it's in his blood. But he cheers for the Dogs when we're not playing you, right, Gary?
Yeah. No, and
against Auburn, I'm sure.
as a Bama fan, I am so thankful that UGA beat them. So I'm going to give you a Kirby Smart clap in honor of the victory.
All right, well, let's set that up. So we'll talk about some of the high points and the low points. A lot to unpack with this game, but we don't have to go chronologically. Now we're talking about the timeout call clap. I guess Kirby claps like this for those watching on YouTube. This is how he claps. And Scott, I heard you say it looked like he was calling timeout, and it did to everybody in the world. But here's what Kirby had to say.
They're clapping. So I told them before the game, if these guys clap, it's a penalty. They can't clap because it will false snap. I've lost games on that before in the stadium. And I told them, I said, if they clap, I'm going to tell you. I got somebody in the box watching every play. They were clapping. So I ran over to him and said, they're clapping. They're clapping. And he thought I called timeout. And so I
So did everybody else.
Understood it. Go lip read. Because I'm screaming, they're clapping, they're clapping. I didn't need a timeout because we were going to get it off before the shot clock. It was 2-1. We were going to get it off before the play clock ended, and I didn't need a timeout. It was the fact that they were clapping. I wanted them to call it because it's a penalty.
Well,
I noticed in that clip, he does what I've done before. He called it a shot clock. That's basketball terminology.
That's right.
I don't know how many times I've done that. And the shot clock is winding down. It's like, well, no, it's a play clock.
Well, you
Play
also
clock in
call
football.
basketball, too, for those that don't know, right? So I can see where they get messed up. Kirby, I don't understand why he called it a shot clock. That's a funny observation. But everybody on the planet thought he was calling timeout, and whatever. Here's what I say. He was able to convince those refs that he wasn't. And you know what? We'll take it. That's why he's the GOAT, I think.
He was able to get his point, and he was running, and I mean the video that we saw, it did look like he was doing that. Now it wasn't a clear shot. The one shot that I saw, I mean he was doing something with his hands, but it looked like he was doing the timeout signal.
100%.
Now, and as that evolved, I was thinking that he's doing that to get their attention, because if coaches are just running up and down the sidelines yelling, I mean the officials, how often do they hear that? I mean, all the time.
Yeah.
So unless you do something demonstrative, that, hey, this is official. I'm calling timeout. Okay, we'll stop the clock and we'll listen to what you've got to say. Well, he got their attention to talk to them about what we just heard, what his issue was, and they were clapping. There was the safety was, he was clapping his hands, which sounds kind of silly. It's like, oh, on the football field you can't clap anymore. It's like that's kind of where the game has evolved, because that's how quarterbacks snap the football now.
Yeah.
But Kirby's clap was deafening.
As Gary points his fingers into his palm, he can't make a lot of noise like that.
Oh my gosh!
But, it was and in the end, if you follow the progression of that play, I think it was the next play, we had a big pass down to like the 1 yard line where we had a penalty thrown on us. Well, the penalty was a block, if I'm remembering this in the proper order. They called it a blindside block on Cash Jones. Well, if you go back and look at that, it was not that at all. So it's like, was this like a makeup call? What's happening here? So, we were on the 1, we got penalized, we go off the 1, and we went back to like the 30-something yard line, and then we ended up, trying a field goal, which Peyton Woodring missed a field goal, which is a rarity.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any points out of that whole process, but people still want to they're beside themselves because they think we got away with something on the timeout deal.
Yeah.
We weren't granted a timeout. It didn't cost us anything. They reset the clock and kind of redid the play. And it's like, it didn't come to anything.
Yeah, nothing was yielded.
Is the way I look at it. And I'm obviously looking at it from this perspective.
Georgia perspective, of course,
from the Georgia perspective, but that's it looked like Kirby just wanted to get the attention of the officials. He did that. He talked to them about, as we heard him say, he had talked to them before the game about that. Look, they're going to do this. So when they do this, I'm going to tell you that they're doing this because it's supposed to be a penalty.
Did you see the Auburn reaction when Woodring missed the field goal? When they panned the crowd, they're all going.
The Kirby timeout call. Or
if nothing else, that's going to be
for sure.
That'll be a fun moment to remember from that game forever and ever. When anybody does that, when you're talking about Georgia and Auburn, you're going to know what they're talking about.
More lore coming from this game, and I love it. And there's so much more to talk about, and we're out of order. We're not talking about the game chronologically. We don't need to. We know the outcome 2010. There's our outcome. That's what we care mostly about. But I tell you, man, that all this talk about a fast start. We got to do a fast start, and that first half almost up until that fumble, which I'd like to talk about, just felt like we were just getting trounced all up and down the field. Body language for Georgia, it just looked hopeless. And then this game, where the change in momentum is really a real thing. So let's go to that fumble. And I know that a lot of Auburn fans feel like that was a touchdown, that football crossed the plane. And we watched it from every possible angle. The national guys were saying they felt it was a touchdown. I only learned that because I watched the replay afterwards because I listened to Scott call the game. But from up there, where you were, Scott, and you had the same angle we did because you were looking at a monitor, I'm sure, because what was your thought? Because I have some questions about that. But first of all, when that happened, what were you thinking at the time?
At the time, in real time, it was a big pile, and I was watching the quarterback, and then you see the ball come out, and then you see Kyron Jones pluck it off the pile, and then he runs down the other end, and I'm saying Georgia has the ball, the pile is still there, and all the officials are surrounding the pile, and there's been no whistle. There was never a whistle.
So why wasn't it a touchdown? That's my question then. There was no whistle.
The play's continuing, and
why?
The officials are kind of standing around, and I think we said something to the effect, the officials don't know where the ball is. And I said, the guy with the ball is in the other end zone. That's where the ball is. That should be a Georgia touchdown. You didn't call. So they reviewed it. And it was a long review, as you guys know.
Oh, my gosh. The one of many reviews.
It took a long time, and they were dissecting it, and we were looking on our monitor in the booth, and they were zooming in as tight as they could and still have a picture. It got really grainy.
Yeah.
But, and I agreed with what they were saying, that the ball, when Jackson Arnold, the quarterback, was jumping over the pile we lodged the ball loose out of his grip, so it was moving in his arms, I thought, before he got to the goal line, and then we punched it out. Now, everybody said, well, the ball crossed the goal line. It's like, that's probably true, but at the time, he didn't have possession of it. He didn't have secure possession. It's like catching the football now. If the ball's moving and you're falling out of bounds and you don't have possession of it when you fall out of bounds, I mean, they're going to say incomplete. If that thing's moving around and you don't have it securely, firmly in your grasp.
If he did, he wouldn't have fumbled.
That's what I thought from the video that we saw and all the time it took. That's how we felt about it. I felt like they got the call right. It was a fumble. Now, the 1 yard line thing, I never understood that.
Why did we not get awarded a touchdown right there? Because was he down? I don't understand. If he's on top of that pile, maybe I don't understand the rules clearly, but he didn't look like he was down. He was on other people.
Kyron never touched the ground. Once he had the ball, the ball was on the pile.
Yes,
he got
so it's a touchdown.
Off the pile, and he never touched the ground. His leg didn't touch. His arm didn't touch. Nothing. His body parts did not touch the ground, so he was not declared down.
And no whistle was blown. So live play. He's in the other end zone. I really don't know. I haven't seen any or really looked for any real explanation as to why we weren't awarded a touchdown right there.
That's the one part of that whole play that I don't have an explanation for. Why did they give it to us at 1? I felt like it should have been a touchdown for Georgia if the play continued and they never blew the whistle. And we were talking to Shock on the sidelines. He goes, we never heard a whistle down here either.
Down there, yeah.
And then I'm watching the replay on Sunday on the TV copy. And, I mean, you can clearly, as the game goes along, you can clearly hear whistles on the broadcast of every play. But then when you get to that play, you never hear a whistle. So that tells me the play continues, and now we're going to sort it out in review. Which they did sort out, but why we had the ball on the 1, I still don't understand that.
Me either. Okay, so it's unresolved, and I suppose it doesn't matter now. But had we lost that game, it really would have mattered.
Yeah. And, Scott, I was listening to your broadcast on the way back from a wedding with my wife, and when that fumble happened, I had to switch over to the Auburn broadcast. It was like listening to the Hindenburg disaster. I mean, the humanity, we're being robbed. It was hilarious.
It's probably like a two sides of a presidential debate. I'm in the right here and go the other side. Oh, you're an idiot.
They are crying all week, I'm sure. And loved the camera shots of the Auburn fans in the stands. It was just hilarity.
Well, you know what that play was for Georgia? And I know you guys remember this, but I'll tell our audience. Do you remember the old Popeye cartoons? Popeye was just getting pummeled by Brutus. He was just getting his tail beat. And, and he's just getting pounded. He's just getting hammered. And then at the last minute, right before he's just finished, he reaches for that magical can of spinach. He gets that can open, he downs that spinach, and then boom, he's got anchor forearms, and he just sledgehammers Brutus, and he wins the fight. That fumble was our can of spinach. I mean, it was. The game changed on that one play. It was incredible how much the game changed. Even though we went down the field and got a field goal, we didn't get a touchdown to make it 10-3 for the half. And then the second half, I mean, Auburn was just inept after the game. But I'll always remember that fumble as Popeye's can of spinach for the Dogs, man.
And at the end of the game, the Dogs went home with olive oil. Right? What a victory there, huh?
They went home with olive oil and every other kind of oil that night.
Right.
Great to be a Bulldog on a Saturday night.
Oh man, I'll never look at that play. Somebody please recreate that with AI so we could see something about that fumble being Popeye's can of spinach, because this is a game of momentum, and that changed everything, and that's what needed to happen. I was listening to the pregame show before the tailgate show with Jeff Dantzler and Kevin Butler, and KB said, "Listen, we need somebody to make a big play and punch out a ball and create create a play," and it happened. I'm like, "Yes, we need that to happen," and it happened at the best time, at the perfect time, and everything changed. Everything turned upside down, and thankfully in our favor too. Let's talk a little bit about Gunner Stockton, Scott, because I mean, throughout the game, it felt like he was hitting guys and there were drop passes and he was really throwing it away. I mean, he made a few really good, smart decisions to sail the ball off when it needed to happen. But man, what ultimately when the game was over, you really got to look back at it and just a clear head, even though he had his bell rung a few times on that clear targeting play as well. But just that kid, he'll get beat up and he'll just get right back up. I mean, he's like Rocky Balboa. He just we're referencing Popeye and Rocky Balboa. Yeah. But talk about Gunner and what your observation was on his style of play and his decision making and his leadership on the field on Saturday.
Oh, well, he was rock solid on Saturday in the game, in the win over Auburn. Let's see what his numbers were. I mean, his numbers probably don't match up to his effect on the game. I think he ended up rushing for like 26 yards in that last touchdown. 24 of 37, he threw for 217, no picks. He didn't have any touchdown passes. He had he was sacked a couple of times. But one thing that I can't remember where he said this. He was in the press conference yesterday as Georgia gets ready for Ole Miss this week. Mm-hmm. He was in the weekly presser yesterday, and I don't know if he said it there. It's amazing how short my memory is nowadays. Or if he said it after the game on Saturday night, in the tunnels there at Auburn Stadium. But somebody asked him a question about getting hit and how he always just bounces right back up. And his response was, as long as he's been playing football, to him, it's never a good look to stay on the ground. So that's why he bounces back up. I mean, he took that shot to the helmet on that throw, and that ended up being a targeting play. And that was on the drive, I think, to go get the field goal at the end of the half. So Auburn helped out a lot. They had two 15-yard penalties, and then they had another 5-yard penalty.
Imploded.
But he just got his head turned around. He got hit so hard in the helmet, and they called it targeting after the fact. In review, they called it targeting. But he gets knocked to the ground, his head spun around, his helmet's on sideways, his face mask is off his ear.
The other guy's helmet flew off, didn't it?
The other guy's helmet came off, yes. And Gunner just pops right back up, like he did in the SEC championship game against Texas when he took that blow. He got bent backwards. His helmet came off, but he didn't stay on the ground. And that's the kind of player he is, and that's his mentality. He's like, it's not a good look to stay on the ground. I guess that shows – in his mind, that shows weakness for the other team. It's like, we got that guy now. He's not getting up. But he didn't show that. He bounces right back up, and he takes some shots. He's a tough kid.
He's a tough kid. And then that touchdown, really, as a fan, we needed that. we needed his Superman launch into the end zone at the end there. And I know there's a little bit of controversy on that play. Not a whole lot, but let's talk about that, Scott. That night, they retired Cam Newton's number.
They retired his jersey. And, I mean, the place was electric. I mean, Auburn was nuts Saturday night. And he's a Heisman winner, and they won a national championship. Sure. I mean, he's beloved at Auburn. Yeah. So Cam was there on his jersey retirement night. And if you remember all the stuff he used to do in his college and pro playing days, it was always the Superman stuff. When you get in the end zone, when he scored a touchdown, he'd always rip open his shirt to show the big S on his chest. It was always that mentality. So that was kind of a neat tie-in for Georgia at the end of the game when Gunner soars over the pylon in the corner of the end zone to score the winning touchdown, and everybody immediately started saying, he flew like Superman. And then after that, if you watch the video, after he gets up off the ground, scores the touchdown, Oscar Delp runs over to him and does the Superman thing to him. They're celebrating over on the sideline. And Oscar's the first one to get over there and rip his, like he's ripping his shirt open to show the S on his chest.
That's awesome. Did he point up to Cam Newton? Because wasn't he in the stands doing stuff, Cam, I guess?
He was everywhere. He was on the field. He was in with the students. He may have been playing in the band. I'm not sure. He was all over the place.
Well, but, Gunner, for us, Bulldog Nation, loved that toughness, getting that score, giving us the margin. But Kirby didn't look too happy, surprisingly.
Well, there was the argument that we just want to kill the clock and win the game and go home.
Yeah.
So get the first down. I think it was a third down play that we scored the touchdown on, the last touchdown, to put it out of reach. There was some discussion apparently about get the first down, then get on the ground, and we're going to run the clock out, and we're going to win the game. And we don't have to put our defense back out on the field and go through all that stuff. Yeah. Well, that didn't happen. And again, I mean, to me, that's how do you not do that if you're a football player? And that's your instinct. I mean, I got to get in the end zone, man. I can't just run 2 yards to the 4-yard line and then slide down when the goal line's right there.
No. He's a
competitor. So as a fan, it's like we need that touchdown. We need those points just to make us feel good. So because we know Auburn won't be able to catch us at that point.
That's right.
But from a coaching standpoint, and a player and a strategy and all of that stuff, I think that came into play, and Gunner probably heard about it from his coaching staff.
And he was getting that.
I'm sorry. Did that affect the gambling lines there?
What was the line? The line was like 3.5 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the total number, what the over under was, but I mean, every time you put points on the board, it affects somebody somewhere.
It does, but
so I'm sure that played a part into it, Gary. Yeah.
Yeah, it did with the money I gave him to go do it. Between us.
Well, we're glad he did, and then Scott, we'll jump ahead to the end of the game, and we'll move forward and talk about Ole Miss. There's a lot to talk about there, but I have to tip my cap to you. You did a terrific job in that game. That game was filled with drama, and boy, listen, how many reviews did we have in that game? That must have been close to a record. I mean, it was borderline ridiculous.
We did so many that the sponsorship group that sponsors that aspect of the game on the radio, we maxed out. We didn't have to read their commercial anymore. Like I was told in my ear, it's like, we've already hit our max. You don't have to do it anymore. It's like, they just keep going to replay. I don't have to read this. Okay.
Added value.
There were a lot.
Yeah, there were a lot. But so what I wanted to tell you was just listening to you and syncing it up with what I saw on television. You did a terrific job with the call, making it fun, making it funny at times. I really wish you would have brought up the Popeye thing during the play-by-play. That would have been pretty great. But the end to me was the perfect exclamation point at the end of the ball game. I don't want to not do it justice. I should have the man himself say what he said. But do you remember what you said, how you ended the game with Gunner taking that knee?
Oh, just, the observation was, I think we had the last 2 snaps of the game. Auburn, they failed to score on that last possession. Mm-hmm. So we got the ball, and I think we had 2 snaps to get the time off the clock. And we're at midfield. And the end of the game, the last play of the game, Gunner takes a knee, and it's right on the Auburn logo at the middle of the field. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
It was great.
This is perfect. From Georgia's perspective, man, this is awesome to win the game, taking a kneel down on the logo.
Oh.
And that's, and then you walk it off. And
poetic is what it was. And then you walk it off. It was poetic. It was one for the ages. The Deep South's oldest rivalry continues, and it was awesome. And we can say that because we're on the winning side of it. And now, before we set our sights to another huge game this Saturday, Gary, if you wouldn't mind, from the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Always glad to have you on the show and grateful for your sponsorship as well. As a personal injury attorney, Gary, would you please tell our audience what you do for families in Georgia?
Yeah, gosh, for more than 36 years, we've been helping people who've been victims of tractor-trailer wrecks, car wrecks. We help them get their life back together. And unlike a lot of the attorneys you see on TV, see on billboards, you hear on the radio, I'm local. I've been here all 36 years. The $1 billion that we recovered have been right here in Georgia.
And I do have to say, from personal experience, though I've never needed your services, not yet, but I have worked with you for decades, and what you pour back into the community, Gary, needs to not go unnoticed. I've worked with you side by side on several charitable initiatives, and it's been a pleasure to serve with you. And so you are local. You do give back here. And so if someone needs you, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Now, it just checks out that Gary is going to provide us with the injury report of what we can look forward to as we move forward this Saturday with Georgia and Ole Miss. So, Gary, what have we got on tap? Who's going to be on the sidelines? Who are we unsure of? What you got?
Well, the continuing saga of Juan Gaston, the Georgia offensive lineman, hurt his ankle again in the Auburn game, and it's unclear as to whether or not he's going to be available for Ole Miss on Saturday. Cornerback Dalen Everett suffered an injury to his upper body, and running back Chauncey Bowens. Scott? Bowens. You say Bowens, I say Bowens. He's banged up. Yeah, but according to Coach Smart, he should be good to go, and Georgia needs him because he leads the team in rushing yards. And one quick note, too, about the Auburn game, that's 9 in a row. I'm sorry, anytime you beat any team in the SEC 9 times in a row, that is quite an accomplishment. So hats off to the Bulldogs and a Kirby clap.
Clap.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the Masters because I think the whole golf gallery is going to be going, oh, nice shot.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a nice, quiet golf clap. Yes.
Yeah.
You just tap your fingertips into your palm.
That's it.
Again, that adds to Lord Gary. Thanks for bringing that up. 9 in a row too. That we'd be remiss not to bring that up as well too. So a big victory for the Dogs. A moral victory as well as one in the win column as well. It's just terrific. So looking ahead to Ole Miss, let's just talk about it from the fans' perspective first and what it's going to be like in Athens at the Classic City at Sanford Stadium on the campus. ESPN Game Day is going to be there. I may have to get up early and go because I love it. I love McAfee. I love all the theatrics that go along with it. I know that the love or hate for McAfee. I mean, it's polarized. I'm team Pat McAfee. He adds so much to that show, and I never thought I'd say this, Gary, but man, I love Nick Saban on that show. I love him on there. He's terrific. Really, I know those were words I never thought I would say, but he's incredible. And so that's coming to campus. And also, by the way, for you country music fans, we have Bailey Zimmerman and Luke Combs will be there to perform on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a big day in Athens and a top 10 matchup between the hedges. And let's see, we are now ranked 9th. Is that correct? We're 9th. I believe
9th in AP, I think, and 7th in the coaches poll.
Oh, okay.
And Ole Miss is 5th, I think.
Yeah, I think they're 4 or 5 across the board, unbeaten. You know, they beat Washington State, that powerhouse, this past week.
And as
they're 5 in both rankings in both polls.
As a college senior, I can't wait to go and attempt the field goal either for game day.
Have you seen that? Did you watch that the other day? Yeah. Oof. I mean, they've been fun to watch up till the other day.
Yeah, he's been giving away some money.
He's been giving away some money.
They picked somebody that had no clue what a football was.
Well, he was wearing cowboy boots or something. I don't know. He wasn't wearing the right shoes. But it has been fun to watch that segment on game day where they kicked the field goal for money and for charity. And it's been, I think almost every game so far that they've made the goal.
Here's a good thing, too, if you want to play into this, Gary. If your story is sad enough, even if you're horrible kicking the ball, if your story is sad enough and it's heartbreaking and heart-wrenching enough, they'll still give you the money.
Oh, there's a little tip for you dog fans listening, for you students that are going to be there. Come up with a real sad story.
You got to have a sad story. You got to have, you got to have a lot of something going on in your family and your background. You know, you're just fortunate to be where you are at that point. And I don't even know what this leather-shaped thing is in front of me. I've never seen it before. I got no chance of kicking it off the ground and putting it over the crossbar through those 2 big poles up there.
I want to see
if your story's sad enough, hey, we're still going to give you $100,000 scholarship. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see somebody pull a Lucy. Yank the ball away.
Well, Saban was down there holding it the other day, remember? So, watch it fall on their back.
How did he do? I didn't see that. Did he? Because Herb Street normally does that.
He does, and then the week ago, Herb Street, if I think McAfee said if you throw it through the uprights, we'll give you the money. He did, and then but this week, did Herb Street hold it? And then Saban came down.
No, Herb Street was gone because he had to go work.
Right. He was on the plane. Yeah. Right, so he was on the plane. So Saban was down there. And they asked him, have you done this a time or two? He was like, don't insult me.
Did they say, if you kick Coach Saban in the face, we'll give you the money anyway?
Ouch.
They need him on that show, and that was hard for me.
Yeah, he's good. He
is really good, and that dynamic.
He looks at times like he's just, man, this is the last place I want to be.
Not anymore. I think he's used to.
I mean, he's got, it's a great resource for that show because, who's been
the polarity
better?
Between him and McAfee. I mean, you got Saban, who's stoic and calm and collected, and then you got McAfee, who's bananas on the chair, taking his shirt off, leading the whole crowd. It's just the two of them together. It's really not to turn this into an ESPN College Game Day commercial.
It's too late. It's turned into that.
It really has, but it is a terrific show, and it's in Athens this week, so that's going to set the tone for a lot of excitement. With or without ESPN, it's going to be exciting. A top 10 matchup between the Hedges. So let's run down it. Now, I might be incorrect here, and if so, I'll just edit it out. But I don't recall a lot of games between Ole Miss and Georgia, in particular between the Hedges. Is that something that I'm misremembering? I know they're here recently, but it seems like
recently the series has waned a little bit. I think we've only played 3 times since Kirby's been Georgia's head coach.
Gotcha.
The first time was in his first year. And Hugh Freeze, coincidentally, was the head coach at Ole Miss in 2016. They beat Georgia in 2016. And then we didn't play again until, was it 2 years ago? Ole Miss came to Georgia, and the Dogs whacked them pretty good, like 52-17 or something like that. And then last year we went to Oxford, and they beat the Dogs in that big game. And that was a flat point for Georgia in that game last year.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 times in Kirby's tenure that they played, and Ole Miss has beaten Kirby twice. So he's 1-2 against the Rebels.
Well, but let's remember too. I do have this note: Ole Miss hasn't beaten Georgia in Athens since 1996, and Kirby Smart was still playing for Georgia at the time.
Yeah. Wow. It used to be we used to play them every year. Back when the SEC was smaller before expansion and all of that. They were on the schedule as a yearly opponent. So there's all those meetings, but here more recently it hasn't happened on a regular basis.
Well, it's going to be electric. I was at the Alabama game, and that environment was crazy. I was at the Tennessee game. I think it was a couple years ago. It was, to me, I think it's when the decibels got as high as they've ever been at Sanford Stadium, and it was kind of raining. That was the best environment, most electric environment I've experienced. But this Saturday, and I'm not trying to hype it up, but it seems like this could be one of the more incredible environments at Sanford Stadium. The game, 3:30 kick, 3:30-ish kick. It should be a lot of fun this week. So what can we expect, Scott? What do you think? I mean, Ole Miss, they're pretty darn good. So
they're very good. They found this diamond in the rough in their quarterback. Trinidad is his first name. So he's got the name part down for college football.
So does Gunner.
And when these two teams play each other, because Kirby and Lane Kiffin both worked on the same staff at Alabama under Nick Saban, and they're friends. And they like to jab each other. They like to poke fun at each other. They used to, because Kirby's talked about this briefly. He didn't talk about it a lot, but they used to be on a text chain together with some other coaches and other people that they had worked with. So there were always jabs being thrown out back and forth. And Lane even did that yesterday in his press conference at Ole Miss. Some reporter asked him. He said, "This is kind of an off the wall question for you," and he's talking to Lane Kiffin standing at the podium, and he said, "You and Kirby Smart are 2 of the more demonstrative coaches on the sidelines. My question is, who do you think burns more calories?" And and excuse me, Lane says, well, that's an interesting question. I don't know. He said, on the way over here to my press conference, I walked by the television and I saw Kirby on with his on the press conference, and he doesn't look like he's burning too many calories.
Ow.
Here we go.
Shot fired across the bow.
That's kind of their relationship, I think, in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
So, there's that aspect of it, but they're both very strong competitors. And, I think it's a pretty good chess match. I mean, Lane's a big offensive coach, Kirby's defensive. So it's good stuff when they get together. So, it should be a great matchup.
Should be a great matchup, great environment too. And I've seen this thing floating around social media where fans want to stripe Sanford. Have you seen this? Where they're asking if you're going to the game, if you're on the north side, wear black. If you're on the south side, wear red, and if you're in the end zones, wear white.
Yes.
So you've seen that too. So
yeah, I've seen it. I don't know if that's official from the university, but I have seen that. So I don't know if the school is saying, hey, we want to do this like Tennessee does when they checkerboard their stadium.
Right.
I don't know if that's a Georgia thing or not. So I don't have that information. I'm sorry, but if it's a fan thing, if everybody wants to play along, what the heck, have some fun.
I think Tim started that.
That's right. We'll see. So if you see it happen on TV, this guy started it right now.
And then if you're in this section on the north side, we want to spell out Tim in section 123, 124, and 125. So I see where you're going with it.
You see what I'm trying to get done here? All right,
we'll be handing out those cards going into the gate out at the stadium.
92,000 of them are stacked in my garage over here. I'll be handing them out as they enter the game on Saturday. But let's just do it. I mean, if you're going to the game, and I'm still up in the air whether or not I'm going. I hope so. I've got family from California visiting. Their daughter just graduated from UCLA, and their football tailgating experience is kind of mid, as the kids would say.
Is it family or refugees from California?
These are family members. And
okay. So they're still stuck out there, huh?
And they actually texted me the other day, hey, what color shirt should I wear? Red or black? And they're going to go shopping for some Bulldog gear. And
well, that's good that they asked.
On where we're sitting. So I want to show them what it's like to tailgate, unlike at the Rose Bowl at UCLA. I mean, this is a whole other world out here, and I can't wait to show them what it's like at a Georgia football game. So we're going to probably grab some tickets. So before we decide what we're wearing, we'll see where we're going to sit and then make that a game time decision, whether it's red, white, or black. So
anything but orange.
Never orange. I have no orange. Listen,
good man.
That's the worst. I mean, I thought Auburn was going to pumpkin. What'd you call it, Gary, last week?
The pumpkin out. Yeah, they were supposed to. Yeah.
Maybe they should have.
There was a lot of orange in there, but they have different shades of orange. I noticed that when the stadium was empty and all their chair backs, they've got some sections where it's like a Tennessee orange. And then other sections, there's a little bit of a hint of red in the orange. So it's a different shade of orange. It's like,
it's
all
like
that needs to be universal.
Situation. It's like their mascot situation. They can't make a decision. You know what I mean? Just pick one and go with it. I mean, marketing 101, but whatever. I know Auburn fans will haze me about it. I don't care. We have one shade of red. The Pantone, I don't know what the Pantone color is for our red, but make sure you get the right red on Saturday if you're going to the game and you're sitting on the south side, I believe. So it should be a great game. Want to thank you both for your input today, for joining us here on In the Doghouse with Tim and Scott, brought to you by Gary Martin Hayes, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Scott, go Dogs. Oh, that's right. Go ahead. You're pointing to
the G
Gary.
for Gary.
That's right.
I got to wear this every week.
Hey, Gary, maybe you should change your logo to add that Georgia G. You might get in trouble if you do that, though.
That's a good look. And best of luck to the Dogs. Going to be beautiful weather on Saturday. Get there early, too. The first 500 people get a free can of spinach.
I'm having T-shirts made.
There's another marketing idea right there.
Indeed. All right, Gary Martin Hayes, thank you for being with us, buddy. Great to see you as always.
Thank you, my friend. Y'all be safe, Scott. Love you, man.
Arrow, good to see you, man.
Thank you very much, Scott. Have a great call on Saturday, and we'll catch everybody next week.
All right. Good to see you guys again, and go Dogs, and so long, everybody.